This is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein, and today we're going to talk about, should you get a business address for your small business? So I'm assuming you have a business that doesn't have an office or a warehouse or some sort of in-person facility. You're a business that is mobile, you work from home, you're a virtual business, you have an online business. You're a business that is run by someone who travels around or is overseas, but most of your clients or customers are in the United States. For some reason, it's not obvious what your physical address is. And so you're wondering whether or not you need to get some kind of business address for your business. So first, why would you need to get a separate business address? The thing is, there's going to be a lot of forms you will have to file that require you to have an address on them. Business registration forms, getting a DBA, business license, tax stuff. You also usually need to have some kind of address on your email marketing, as well as probably want one on your website. You don't necessarily legally have to have one on your website. There's other ways to do it, but generally speaking, you're going to want one in your privacy policy, if nothing else. So having an address in your business is going to be something important you need to address. So what are the different options available? The different options for a business address include a PO box. In the United States, you can get a post office box. It's not that expensive, especially for one of the tiny little ones. It's a monthly fee. You can also sign up for packages for longer periods of time where you get a discount. The issue with having a PO box is that you have to go there in person to pick up the mail. And if this PO box is not convenient to you, how are you going to get that mail? You're going to have someone else get it. How's that going to work? Now, in some places, a PO box can only accept US mail. In other places, you can get a physical location address for the post office, and you can accept other packages, FedEx, UPS, but you really have to look into that for that particular location. The second option that occurs to people is a UPS store address. These are similar to having a PO box, except it's at the UPS store, which means you can get UPSs and you can get other kinds of things delivered. I've even had flowers delivered at a UPS store address because I used to have a UPS store address. They're more expensive. They cost a lot more per month. You might even have to put a key deposit. Sometimes you have to put a key deposit for PO boxes too. The issue with the UPS store address is that it costs a lot more money and you have to actually go pick the stuff up in person. So sometimes the UPS store place will tell you if you have any mail, and sometimes they will forward the mail to you like in a big package of stuff, but there's no virtual way to check that mail. The third option is to use some kind of virtual mailbox. There's a number of different companies that do this. Some of them are larger companies that have their own mailbox systems that you can use, as well as some places like Anytime Mailbox that they don't actually have the mailboxes, they're just software, and they contract with a whole bunch of little mom and pop type mailbox places. One of the great advantages of this is that they scan all your mail. So they'll scan the outside envelope, and then you can just tell them whether or not they should open it, and then they'll open it and scan the inside. Sometimes they'll even deposit checks for you, all kinds of services that you can get. They'll shred the stuff, you tell them to shred it, recycle if it's junk mail, and they can forward the mail to you wherever you are. For some of them, they forward to one address, your home address or whatever, and sometimes you can have them forward into many different places. The next solution is using a co-working space or some kind of virtual office space. This is going to cost more money, obviously, because they have more services. Sometimes they not only will accept mail on your behalf, they'll also have a phone number there. They might have a receptionist. They might have a place for you to work during the day, even a dedicated desk or office, or just a shared space to work. You may have access to a conference room, access to a printer and fax machine. Yes, sometimes you still need to fax things, even nowadays, especially for government filings. It drives me up a wall. Now, the issue is it's obviously more money, but it is definitely a physical location for your business. The last solution is to just use someone else's mailbox. So it could be a colleague, friend, family member who has a business office and they're willing to let you use that address. I would highly recommend that you have some kind of written agreement with them so you get to use that officially. You don't want to have a problem that if something happens to them, if they move, if they get sick, if they pass away, whatever, you now have no access to your mail. So you want something in writing that gives you that legal right to have access to your mail and use that address. So what are the different ways you need to use an address? I talked a little bit about this before, but it's going to be for government filings. So it could be for business license, for business registrations, to form your LLC or corporation, for a DBA. For all those filings, your address is going to go into some database. Some of those databases are private, like the IRS. Some of those databases are public. Like if you do a DBA, then you're probably going to have to do a newspaper publication about your business, which includes the address location, which makes that public information. Obviously, part of having an address is so you have somewhere you can get mail, both envelopes, regular mail, as well as packages and flowers and all the different things that people may want to send you. And then you also may need it for marketing purposes. Email marketing, to get around spam issues, you need to have an address in your emails. You probably want one for your privacy policy, and then you also may need it in contracts and things like that. So how do you decide if having a virtual business address is right for you, and also what kind of address you should have? Well, first you gotta look at your budget. Is this something that's going to make or break you to get a more fancy co-working space kind of address? Do you need to keep your expenses as low as possible? That really depends upon what your budget is. Do you need to accept boxes or just mail? So in my business, I hardly get anything besides mail. That's almost everything for me. So that's different than some people. They might get returns from their customers, from products. They may get packages from vendors that have stuff in them. Like, you may be receiving a fair amount of box mail that would make it more expensive or burdensome versus someone who just gets, envelopes from about their taxes from the IRS, and that's the kind of stuff that's most of their mail. You also want to look at what's acceptable for government filings in your area. For some businesses, for some government filings, they may require you to have a physical location address as well as a mailing address. Now, maybe only the mailing address is listed in a publicly accessible database. So having a virtual mailbox would work for that part. And then you have to tell them the physical address, but they keep that private. Sometimes that's not true. So you need to look at the rules in your specific area, in your specific jurisdiction, to see what applies in your situation. And then obviously you want to see what amenities are available. What do you really need in your business? Do you need office space? Do you need someone to answer the phone for you? Do you need access to a fax machine and a printer? Do you need a place to have meetings with clients in a whole bunch of different locations around the United States? Right now we're in the middle of COVID as I'm recording this video, so you probably aren't doing a lot of in-person meetings, but that's hopefully not going to be true forever. So you want to think about what needs you're going to have moving forward in your business, and does it make sense to do something a little more upscale versus having a plain old P.O. box. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein. If you have questions about getting a business address for your business, feel free to ask it below and I'll see if I can point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and subscribe for more legal tips for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.